I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Leon Streete. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
I'm feeling very good, Angel. I've just come back from the gym not long ago, so I'm pumped, ready to go. Body's feeling good, and looking forward to this conversation.
Love it, love it. Well, do tell us, which part of the world are you in right now?
So I'm from a city called Wolverhampton, which is about 12 miles outside of Birmingham, based in the West Midlands in the United Kingdom.
Right, all right. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
So my main talent and the reason why we're connecting is marketing and my ability to connect with others and show them how to use it to their advantage.
Tell us more, tell us more.
Of course. So marketing for me started at a young age when I was into music and DJing. And at the time I was a 14-year-old boy and I wanted people to hear me and the music that I had to play. And so I set about finding ways to connect with people. And after a short time, a year, I was able to find my way into a pirate radio station and get my own DJ slot after learning how to connect with the owners of, an underground kind of business being a pirate radio station. So it's not a legal thing, but it was something that was the first steps in me understanding the art of communication.
Well, that's intriguing. That sounds as though it was fun back in the days doing that. So who did you learn the skill that you needed to connect? Like, who did you learn that from? Like, where did the dots connect for you on that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, really. And I think out of life, it was probably just being at home. And I know we spoke in the green room just before the interview, but coming from a mixed background of my father's parents from Jamaica and my mother being from England, I think understanding how to communicate with people, and especially with patois being in the household, just at a young age, I understood that it was an important tool to grasp communication with, different people. And I think it was just that hunger to be able to be understood. And that's where the skill came about. And then over the years, I've, perfected it through mentors, training, and just grown with this skill.
Now, you in your picture seem to have a smile that lights up a room, right? It's pretty intriguing. So now that you've been doing what you're doing, definitely gone through the hardships. And of course, the hardships remain, right? They're part of the journey, right? Why will you continue on this journey of not just being the person who does marketing, but actually helps others with marketing?
I think the reason why I'll continue to do this is because of the breakthroughs that I experience with my clients. And a lot of the time, it's the little things that block people. Along my journey from, a young man to the time that I am right now in this present moment, I think the key thing for me is just the ability to help people. That's the reason why I'll keep pushing forward. I understood from a young age that people came to me to help me with different things. But as I've got older, I understood how to kind of perfect it and focus on one area and just be the person who can, be the authority in that area. And now I'll just continue to do that to help people make those breakthroughs they need in their business with marketing.
Where's the best place for someone who has listened just this snippet and resonate with what you're saying? Where's the best place for them to connect with you?
So they can find me on my website, and just like you, I run a podcast. They can find me on businessownerelevation.com, and on there you'll find the links to a lot of free content as well as our podcast. So that's where you can connect.
Tell us one other thing that you've done, Leon, consistently over the last 3 years.
Over the last 3 years, I'd say the consistent thing is just the ability to put together a plan and execute on the plan. The last 3 years for me have been about change, pivoting, taking action against that plan, and just continuing to push forward. And probably like yourself and other business owners, what I enjoy the most is the continual evolution of myself, and that's the reason why I'll push forward, because nothing remains the same. As much as we kid ourselves when we're not aware of it, everything is constantly changing, and that's what I enjoy.
Yeah, most definitely. Because podcasters are so humble. You've done more than one podcast, right? Like it's again the evolution in terms of how you've evolved to what you're doing now is pretty fascinating as well. Like even listening to the podcast and hearing the difference But I think it goes line in line with how you serve, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think, like, like I mentioned earlier, people have always come to me in one way or another for help. And the podcast, what I realized when I got into podcasting was that it was another way to serve my audience. And, whether it was me delivering content or bringing the guests like you're doing today to share their experiences and, just the nuances that people can take away. And sometimes it's just that one thing. And the one thing is the breakthrough. And, just like we're doing today, I've listened to podcasts, and sometimes it is that one thing or the repetition of the one thing until it gets through your thick skull, so to speak, and then it finally clicks, and at that point the penny drops, and it's like, and then you can move on to that next breakthrough.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, so in the UK it's a penny. In the Caribbean it goes like badang badang.
There you go.
Well, Leon, how does it make you feel? How does it make you feel seeing the responses from those who do connect?
For me, it's a constant kind of, there's different elements to it. There's an element of being proud, because it's, when you're going after a goal, it's something that you're anticipating, and you never know what result you're going to end up with. So when you do connect with people, there's that feeling of being proud. There's also the feeling of just connection with another person, and just realizing that actually, whether somebody's turning over $500 million or you're speaking to somebody who's just starting out in their business, we're all human, and it's only our filter on the different perceptions of who people are that kind of hold us back. And for me, constantly, just like we're doing right now, the more you connect with people, the more you just realize it's about those conversations, it's about that connection, it's about the communication, and that's what it is for me, Engel.
That's amazing. The conversation right before yours, it was with Yuval Malki, and he's in Israel, and he spoke about the value of humanity to an extent where his son had cancer, and being in the hospital room, being in the hospital with so many different people, and understanding that at the end of it, we're all one. It's all of us are the same in terms of what we desire and what we would like to happen for ourselves, our family. Pretty amazing that we bounced up from Israel to the UK.
What a journey.
It is amazing. Well, Leon, let's before we even switch gears, amazing audience, just to go again, this is Leon Streete that we're live with, and of course you can connect with him via his podcast, which is Business Owner Elevation. Is there any other place you'd like to point us to?
No, the main thing is really to connect on the website. I mean, if you go to businessownerelevation.com/ebook, you can get a copy of that free 30-page ebook, which helps specifically business owners who just want to make that breakthrough in marketing. What I find is people, they're either stuck because they've hit a ceiling and they don't know where to turn next, or they just don't get marketing strategy. And if you get that free ebook, you put your name, email, and I break it all down for people who want to make that breakthrough.
Love it. Business Owner Elevation /ebook. Well, Leon, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water.
I like
Leon, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory is being in the back garden with my mother's parents, my late grandparents, jumping over hurdles. I believe it was like a broomstick on two chairs side by side, running up and down the garden in sunny Leicester in the UK.
How old do you think you were?
I know I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And so it's a memory that stays with me, and it's a strong memory.
Why do you think this memory is so clear, and how do you see it connecting to who you are now?
The reason why the memory is so clear: love and happiness. And I think it's so clear purely because it's what life is all about.
That's amazing. So they were looking at you jumping over this broomstick, right? Okay, that's amazing. But can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Absolutely.
Well, first of all, I love the idea of what marketing contains, in that you're using things that are not traditionally used for the thing you are using it for, right? Because you're using 2 chairs and a broomstick. One is for sitting, one is for sweeping, right? So it speaks to the innovation of this young man at that age. And then it speaks to the coaching aspect of who you are, them being there, and the confidence that you have in the midst of it, understanding that they are there, right? You're in a safe place. And of course, the garden, that for me represents so much of the possibilities that are created before we were there. The things that were planted, if you would, the things that we can now access, the fruits thereof, right? So it is fascinating to me in that image, what's going on there. And of course, to top it off, you are jumping over hurdles.
Exactly.
How amazing is that? Well,
yeah, I like that angle. Very spot on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Now, this is an interesting one because I had to really look into this because I know you gave me the heads up before the interview.
Sure.
And there's probably 2 songs that come to mind, and it's just because even back then I was just getting into the sounds of rave music, which was quite popular in the late 80s, early 90s. But 2 songs that come to mind were Bob Marley, Misty Morning, and the other one was Heavy D and the Boys, Now That We Found Love.
Wow. Well, yeah, 2 great songs, right?
Yes.
Definitely connects, right? I mean, just while in marketing, sometimes it does feel like a misty morning, and but then, now that we found love, what are we going to do, right?
Exactly.
That's amazing. I only just, like a couple of years, heard Misty Morning for the first time. I went to the shop, right, to get something, and a guy passed and he had this music. I said, what song is that? I knew it's Bob Marley. Like, what song is that? He said Misty Morning, and wow, that is definitely a track. Wow. All right, Leon. Wow. Well, we've arrived at our destination now, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Leon, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Have I chosen somebody? Absolutely, I have.
Are you married?
Not at the moment.
Do you have children?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Do you believe in God?
I believe in the energy of the universe.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I do.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
No.
What about screen time, the phone under the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
More than 8. I'm a marketer.
Leon, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Leon Streete, what would you say that is?
I think that the statement is to just constantly push back, don't hold yourself back, and even when you're not aware, focus on love.
Love it. Yeah. I mean, now that we found love, right? What are we going to do, right?
Absolutely.
Leon Streete, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I think the key thing in anything that you do, especially when you're listening to conversations like this podcast, is just keep pushing until you find the answer. Keep listening back. Sometimes you have to listen to an episode the second time around, and I think until you make that breakthrough and whatever it is, and I was having this conversation, I believe last night actually with my girlfriend, we're constantly looking for the catalyst that takes us to that next stage. Yeah. And the thing is, we always ask this question of ourselves, what is the key? What is the secret to life? Yeah, that's your job to figure it out, and nobody can hand that to you. So keep pushing forward.
Love it. Leon Streete, this was a great pleasure, my friend. Thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.